OSGeoLive, as you can see from the logo, it's really similar to the OSGeo logo, is a project from OSGeo. We are an incubated project from OSGeo, and the difference you might see in the logo, there's a triangle inside, so you can play with OSGeo software. But not only with OSGeo software, there's much more you can discover. It's an open source geospatial GNU Linux distribution, and you will hear more about that in this talk. So let's see the wiki. It's a bit complicated. So the presentation you find online, so it's part of our documentation. So if you go on our website from OSGeoLive, you find at the bottom you will find the link and all the information on our website. So at first we want to hear a bit about what is OSGeoLive, and I try to get the microphone, maybe that's better. And at that point I will pass the micro to Nicolas and he will talk about the project.
Thank you. Can you pass the slide, please? So OSGeoLive is a live distribution, Linux distribution, that we made every year for Phosphor-G, that embeds, can you, yep. So it embeds more than 50 geospatial projects and applications within the distribution, and each project has an overview to give some contents about the applications, what you can do with it, the version and things like that. And we also have a quick start, which is a quick tutorial that you can use within the OSGeoLive application. And each quick start use sample dataset we provide also within the distribution. So we have the applications and data and quick start to start play with applications. And we also provide translations in more than 5 or 6 languages, plus English, of course. So you can make a virtual machine with it. We provide an ISO. We provide also sometimes USB sticks loaded with the ISO, and you can use, for example, virtual manager, no, VirtualBox to create a virtual machine on your computer with. So we have a lot of software that are well known and well established, and we also look at them and see how they are active in the community. So we have also on your website a page for metrics for each project. So this is a demonstration of what OSGeoLive and how it integrates in the marketing and production pipeline. So we have developers from each project that develop applications, and they help us to integrate into OSGeoLive. We build and test the ISO. We also provide some packaging for some projects, and we reverse back to the developers. So it's Debian packaging, so it's helpful for the whole community. And sometimes we have issues, so we get feedback also to the developers. It's based on Lubuntu, and we also have documentation and translation. And all of that is integrated to create ISO from DVD or USB stick that we can give to workshops in conference. And we can, you can actually use the applications and choose application you want to do for your projects. So it helps decision makers to make the right choice. And you can test several tools that make the same and find the same things, but find the one that are the best for you. And you also have a website with all the translations and traductions and overviews and things like that. Thank you. What's new?
So now we will hear about what's new in version 16, and I will pass to Angelos.
All right, hello. So this is the new version. We are working on version 16. We are not done yet because the Phosphor-Z happened a bit earlier this year. But of course, we integrated stuff for Prizren and of course the desktop background. Let's go to the next one. So the latest release is based on Lubuntu 22.4.2. So we upgraded all the packages to the latest Lubuntu LTS. Also, we are upgrading core packages based on Debian JS. So we take some packaging from Debian and we rebuild it to based on the dependencies of the Ubuntu system. So we are very thankful for their contribution in the project. This is a list of projects that of latest versions that were included. So, for example, for this round of this new release, we have the latest LTS for QGIS, the GDAL one version behind the latest, and the stack is probably up to date with all the releases, and we have many more packages that were included in the distribution. For this release, we also have two new projects that were integrated in the ISO, Open Data Cube and QField. Those new projects provided the packaging, provided scripts for installation, quick starts, and tutorials for being included. Of course, we provide two versions of the OSGeoLive. One is the ISO version, which is a bit smaller for technical reasons. It can be booted on any machine, and we also provide a VMDK which has more software and more data than the ISO version. Of course. Yeah, of course, on this new release, there are documentation updates, and Vicky will tell you more about it in a while. Let's move to the next one. We provided also the OpenStreetMap data for Prizren. And the packages that we had to rebuild from Debian JS are contributed back to Ubuntu GIS. So we are helping get your Ubuntu packages more up to date since we are in the middle of this pipeline. All right, more details you can find on the website. There's a full change log of all the changes that are happening in OSGeoLive. All right, so.
Okay, so now we will have a look at all the 50 applications that we serve with OSGeoLive, but we will not have a look into detail to each application. We don't have the time for this in this 20 minutes, so we have for every application, we have a explanation and the slide in the presentation. So if you want to have a closer look, you can do it. But we only want to see the overview page. So we divided our 50 projects into categories. And I want to show the categories, and you can have a look what software you will find there. So we have desktop GIS, and here you can see the desktop applications. We have browser-facing GIS, so these are JavaScript clients, for example, like Leaflet and OpenLayers, or GeoPortal applications like MapBender or GeoMoose, or 3D JavaScript libraries like Cesium, and a new project that was added recently is GeoStyler. Then we have web services, and as you can see, this is the biggest category of applications in OSGeoLive with a lot of powerful projects. Then we have data stores. There you find applications like PostGIS and PG routings, and our new project, Open Data Cube. Then we have navigation and maps. with some applications to work with OpenStreetMap data, for example. And maybe I can mention that you have a quick start document that focuses on OpenStreetMap, so you find out about applications around OpenStreetMap. Then we have spatial tools. We have domain-specific GIS. We have data, as Nicola mentioned. We try to provide data with OSGeoLive, so you can already start and try everything with our data. There we have the Natural Earth data set with political and raster and vector data and other sorts of data. And as we heard, we have OpenStreetMap data, and every year we update the OpenStreetMap data and cover the location where phosphagy takes place. Then we have geospatial libraries, and that's all that you can discover. Now we want to talk about CREDIC, so who is part of OSGeoLive. So we have a lot of people involved in OSGeoLive, so not only us, but around the world there are thousands of people involved. So all the people, the developer of the projects and the maintainers of the project. Then we have authors of the documents, the quick start and the overview documents. We have reviewers for our documentations, and we have many translators all over the world.
The project steering committee, it's the PSC. Angelos is the chair, and we are all members of the project steering committee. There are some members that didn't make it to this event. And we work on a year-round basis, and we try to communicate with all the projects to give us an update on the documentation and on the quick starts. We also work on getting in contact with other countries, communities, so that they can help on translating. So if you are speaking a language that is not being included in OSGeoLive, we encourage you to connect to Weblate, which it might be, it's the next slide there, OSGeo Weblate. And you can also connect with the team with 2 mailing lists. That was the previous slide, I think. The link that it shows on this, well, it's in blue, so you don't see the link. It's a developer's link, and recently we created a mailing list for the documentation that will keep the focus of translators and reviewers for the documentation and not for the details of the implementation in the OSGeoLive ISO or VMDK, to make this more available around the world. So the languages that we have right now, it's English, Spanish, French, Hungarian, Finnish, and German. So if you speak another language that is not one of those, we encourage you to contact us so we can increase the knowledge base and have people from your country to come and use our software.
And we want to talk about something else. So we have a new feature for OSGeoLive. So since version 16, you can try OSGeoLive online. So you don't have to set up a USB drive or set up your virtual machine. We have a cloud deployment. Some organizations have it with OSGeoLive, and we have remote OSGeo.org, where we provide some OSGeoLive installations, and it's set up with Mass Central. So you can pick a virtual machine here, and then play with OSGeoLive. This is still in a test state, I would say. It's on OSGeo infrastructure, but as I heard from Vicky, it worked fine in the PG routing workshop so far. We have to find out whether it can scale, but I think this is a nice possibility to use OSGeoLive easily in workshops in the future. So let's see how it will be adopted.
You can use it to try it out and help us test it, read the documentation and try to follow the quick starts and open issues about things that need to be improved. So I invite you to use it, please.
Yes, so we have a mailing list, and in the next weeks we will publish some more beta versions, I guess, because we want to make a final version from OSGeoLive 16 until the end of August. So we will publish some more versions here, and as Vicky said, you are welcome to test. So you can pick a machine here, and then you have the normal OSGeoLive desktop, like you have it in a virtual machine on your system, or as you would use it from the stick.